Hello and welcome to the Carl Jackson Show, your daily dose of objective truth in a world of confusion and lies. Guys, we're going to do something a little different today, and I think this is really fun. Probably a couple or a few weeks ago, while I was hosting Dennis Prager's show, I had a caller call in, Cara Leopardo, and she said that she is the president CEO of WeTheStudios.com. And what I was talking about at the time was how I felt like there needed to be family friendly, good, wholesome programming and entertainment brought back to whether it's online, whether it's on television, whatever it may be. And I was talking about the Cosby Show specifically, and a lot of people got their, get uptight about it. Oh, Bill Cosby, he's this and that. And I'm like, listen, I understand, but don't conflate the two. Bill Cosby, whatever you may think of Bill Cosby, the Cosby Show had a major impact on the culture, particularly Black culture, in a very positive effect. And as a matter of fact, I knew a bunch of white families that will watch the Cosby Show as well. And it was one of these things where I was just like, we used to be able to turn on some television or be entertained. And we had these heroes that we looked up to that had good values, American values, traditional values, faith, family, freedom. And now you turn on the TV or you watch something online and it's just completely trash. Your kids can't watch it and all this kind of stuff. And then Cara calls into the studio and she says, listen, I have this company right here in Central Florida. I'm like, what? And anyway, so Cara, welcome to the Carl Jackson Show.
Thank you so much for having me and supporting us at We the Studios. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay. So, Cara, when I got your call, I just thought that was so cool what you were doing, We the Studios, and we'll get into some of the programming. Actually, one of my favorite MMA fighters of all time, Tito Ortiz, is one of your shows, and we'll talk about that in just a second. How the heck did you get into this? I mean, this is your baby. What made you say, you know what, I want to create TV shows, and where did this come from? Where did this concept come from?
So we're definitely vibing. You hit the nail on the head. This is my baby. This is my fifth child. I have 4 human children, and this is definitely my fifth child. I worked in Hollywood for 17 years. I was very blessed. I had a great career. I worked on with Budweiser when they had the Clydesdale campaign, when they were super all-American and traditional. I worked with Target, Old Navy, Jennifer Lopez, her first music video, Sean Penn, his directorial debut for Peter Gabriel. So it was very unique because I started in the business in Hollywood when we were still getting headshots, and I would arrive 2,000-3,000 headshots every single day, sort through them, blondes, brunettes, athletes, whatever the situation was. And I was able to see the business progress, not just from a technology standpoint, but also progressive standpoint. So when I started in the business, you were cast on merit. You were cast because you were the best person for the role. Sometimes, maybe you were a celebrity's child or something of that nature. But for the most part, you were talented enough to get that role. So towards the end of my career, kind of jumping around a little bit, like, where did this come from, right? I was approached by the Network E in 2016, probably, to appear in a reality show on myself and my business.
No way.
Yeah.
E Entertainment Television.
E Entertainment, yeah.
Okay.
So it was remarkable. From the moment they walked in my office, we shot a pilot, we shot a sizzle tape, and we actually aired one episode. This was like 9 weeks. It was like bam, bam, bam. It was so fast.
Wow.
So we ended up not going to series. However, what that did for me was it opened my eyes to reality TV. And I was like, okay, if I make one more commercial, I'm going to flip the table. I was just commercialed out, music videoed out. I was done. So I launched a reality show production company with my husband. And we were so blessed because we worked for every major network. I'm talking A&E, MTV, you name it. If you were in the reality space, you would call us and we would find the talent. So characters. So we would use those skills that I massed over the years working in casting and apply them to finding reality TV talent. For example, TLC said, we want to do a show on preachers' wives. Cool. I could find a preacher's wives. They said, no. we don't want just a preacher's wives with the Sunday's best. We want the preacher's wives. I'm like, okay, give me the stats. So I ended up finding them in Atlanta, and this sold the series. An African-American Christian female pastor married to a Caucasian Christian Jewish pastor. If you could imagine that. So that's just a little bit that kind of lends to my casting skills and realizing talent from the onset. Not just a crazy story. You can have an interesting story, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're on-screen talent. So started seeing these things, and then the leads for the networks, because they kind of tell you like framework, but not exactly what they want. It started getting really scary. It was like, we want African-American girl. Great. I actually found Candace Owens when she had a podcast called Red Pill Black. I mean, she was...
No way.
Yes. I have the receipts, and like, this will be in my book. Okay. I presented her. I thought she was young, smart, beautiful. I mean, just all the things. And she's, well, not that kind of African-American talent. And I was just so confused. Like, what do you mean?
Wow.
And so I started seeing this political agenda. It was like someone else we cast. Gosh, probably shouldn't. I won't say the network. I don't want to get myself in trouble. So a major network, a major home renovation network, somebody that I cast for them, they said, well, you know, they're a delegate for the state of Illinois, and they're a Republican delegate. Okay.
Wow.
And what's next? So started seeing those things. Well, here's where I ended up. A major network, children's network, wanted me to find, I'm getting like, my heart is racing every time I tell this story. They wanted us to find a show on pronoun kids. This is
on what? Say that again.
Pronoun kids.
Really? Okay.
What, 2019, 2016, probably 2016, 2017. What's a pronoun kid? Nobody really knows what this is. Get the mandate from the network. This is 11 to 14-year-old kids living by a pronoun with the support of their parents. And I mean, I just lost it. I said, you know what? I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm so much better than this. And if this is what reality TV is turning into, I can't do it. So I like to say my husband super wifed me up. I stopped working, had 2 more beautiful children, but I started spending more time in front of the TV instead of behind it, right? And I started to see episode after episode, the symbolism they were putting in the episodes, the messaging that they were putting in the episodes. As a television producer and director, I understand when there's a pentagram in the background, it's not an accident. I understand when they're having storylines, you know, 2 gay dads having a toddler dance around in a tutu for them, there's messaging there. And I was really sick of just being upset online and complaining. So I put my skills into action, and I said, what can I do? Hollywood is not going to buy conservative, all-American TV shows from me or anybody for that matter. They don't want it. So I was essentially forced to start and launch We the Studio so that I could make TV. I say TV for normal people, value-driven entertainment with old-fashioned American values, and create, like you're talking about, the Huxtables, right, and the Cosby Show. Create or find stories that will resonate with the everyday American that we could look up to and inspire to be or emulate or role model. So that was really the inspiration for We the Studios, just being a worker bee, having the skill set to do something about it. So I just did it. I've been building this up for the last 2 years.
That is fascinating. Now, we just have a minute and a half left in this block. I mean, how do you even start something like this? This is obviously massive. Obviously, you have a great background, but you're like, hey, I'm just going to start my own TV studio. I mean, how does that even happen? Do you get sponsorship? How does something like that happen?
I give it all to the grace of God. I really do, because I'm very good at what I do, and I'm extremely hardworking, and I know that I'm talented, but I'm not that good. And it's really remarkable what I've been able to achieve in a short time with a small crew, essentially. I really give it to God that He has given me the ability to not sleep very much, probably 3 hours a night for the last 2 years. He's given me a very strong husband that believes in me and supports me and has invested into this business heavily. And He's put the right people in front of me to do this with. So I really just, I give it to God.
Man, that is so cool. That is so cool to hear, and it's good to hear. I mean, obviously, I met your husband. For the record, guys, I did not realize that I knew Cara. But and then she pops up on the screen, and I'm like, oh, okay, I know her. I forgot, sadly, about her. I won't forget about her again. I didn't forget about her, but the name, it kind of rung a bell, but not really. And so when I saw her on the screen, I'm like, no way. So I know her. I know her husband. Good, solid people, good conservative people, which begs the question, how the heck did you remain conservative in the industry that you were in? We've got 15 seconds in the block.
Again, I'm just going to give it to God and being extremely stubborn person. I don't like to be wrong, and I lean into God, and He's guided me accordingly. So,
right.
Being stubborn, faithful, God-fearing woman. That's it.
All right. That's good. All right. We'll be back more with Cara Leopardo on the other side. Hey guys, Carl Jackson here for My Pillow, and My Pillow is excited to announce that they're having the first ever mega sale on their overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, you can save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. The queen size is only $59.98 and the kings are only $69.98. But they sell out fast every year, so be sure to order now. You can also save 30% on their brand new Mike crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one that Mike has worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's styles, and they're made right here in the good U.S. of A. Get the 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. The initial quantities are extremely low, so get them before they or while they last. And I can't forget to mention the My Pillow. It's just $14.98. So to take advantage of the first ever mega sale, go to mypillow.com, use promo code Carl, or give them a call at 800-858-0263. 800-858-0263 is the number to call in. But wait, remember that $75, the $75 free shipping rule. So, that ship is sailed because right now for a limited time, every order ships free. That's right. Every order ships free. MyPillow.com, promo code Carl, or give them a call at 800-858-0263. All right, welcome back to the Carl Jackson Show. I'm joined by my guest, Cara Leopardo, and she is the president, founder of We The Studios. And basically, Cara had a vision, worked in Hollywood for 17 years. She saw Hollywood basically go from merit-based to woke-based, if you will, more progressive-leaning. And she was casting talent for major networks, major studios. But she had enough of what she was seeing and the transition that she was watching in Hollywood. And she decided to create her own studios. You don't meet people like that every day. Like, I'm going to make my own studio, which is very impressive. And I've looked at some of the trailers of the shows that We The Studios are going to be bringing. And I want to talk about two in particular, but I want to get your take on a couple of others here, Cara. But Tito Ortiz versus Sea Monsters. Tito Ortiz, I grew up watching UFC. Tito Ortiz was, I mean, literally, when he was in UFC, he was my favorite fighter for a period of time anyway. He eventually ended up leaving UFC, as many people know. But he was just this Huntington Beach kid that kind of came up from nowhere and ended up being a champion in UFC. And then I saw him in interviews subsequent to his career, and I'm like, this is, this dude is a cool dude. Now you're seeing him in a different light. Instead of taking on fighters in the ring, he's taking on sea monsters in the ocean, and I just think it's pretty cool. Talk to us about that.
So Tito Ortiz is my husband's casting. My husband, much like you, huge fan of Tito Ortiz, and when we found out that he was a technical fisherman, we were like, we are not going to touch the fighting at all. We're going to focus on the fish and the fishing, because I find it interesting to take people that are known for one thing and show them in a completely different light. So in the series, Tito takes out guests that are not necessarily, maybe they're fishermen, maybe they're not fishermen, but he is the expert here. And this first episode, we actually went 50 miles out in the ocean.
Wow.
I mean, it's major. I mean, there is not a speck of land in sight. There's no other boats. There's nothing. And, 12, 13 hours out there, it's remarkable what you see and what you feel and how you can connect. So Tito's a technical fisherman. He can name all of the lines and all the parts and all the reels and all the different things, assemble everything. Some fishermen, apparently, they'll have the captain assemble things for them, and Tito does it all. So he's a fighter in the ring, but he's also a fighter on the boat as well. So that's been a really, really cool show. We actually are gearing up to go take Tito fishing, and I hope you're going to love this, in the Gulf of America. We want to be the first to do it.
That's cool.
First
Good idea.
series to film in the Gulf of America. So we got the pedal to the metal on that. And our other series, and I'm super excited about because this reaches very wide, is Raising Reynolds. Raising Reynolds is your all-American. We say, meet America's normal family. It's a husband and a wife with their 4 beautiful children. I guess the hook is their 4 beautiful children are adopted from Kentucky foster care. Same mom, different dads, and they're biracial. Living in Kentucky with white parents, if you can imagine that. So wow. Visually, it's interesting. The children are beautiful. The mom and dad are beautiful. But that's really where it ends. They are a solid family. They're so connected. They adopted each child individually, one at a time. It wasn't like a group thing. So they
that's interesting. Yeah. I didn't. Okay, that's really cool.
Like one by one, they got the kids. They wanted one, and it just God, worked it out for them again, where they got 4. But we follow their journey. Teaching the kids accountability, right? So the kids wanted chickens. Episode 1, they got the chickens. Well, chickens need housing. Well, how do you get housing? And small town Kentucky, USA, there's no Home Depot, but there is a lumber yard. So you go to the lumber yard and you build a chicken coop.
Wow.
Yeah. So every single episode with the Reynolds is designed to educate and or inspire. And we really want to create, and I shouldn't say create because it's reality. So this is their real life, but highlight families that our nation's kids could look up to. Our nation's fathers could look up to. A lot of the feedback was, wow, Blake's really, interacts with the kids. He takes the girls to dance and he helps them practice with gymnastics. And we said, okay, well, how does that make you feel? Well, it makes me feel good. We just don't see that anymore. We don't see men engaging with the children. We don't see fathers engaging. And I just thought, bingo, we got it. We are going to make it normal. I don't like the word normalize. We're going to make it normal again for American fathers to integrate with their kids. Yeah. So we get to highlight all of these beautiful things about this family, but what's even cooler than that, we've been able to cast other families that are unique in their own way for their own series throughout America.
Oh, so that is cool.
We're taking a little bit from Hollywood that works in terms of franchising, how you have the Real Housewives and there's different housewives in different cities. We're following that model in terms of families. So we're finding real families in different cities and giving them series around their lives.
Okay, so let me throw a hook at you because, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, just watching the trailer of this Raising Reynolds, I think this has the potential to be the next Duck Dynasty and something that not just great for TV, online, TV, live stream, whatever it may be, on your phone. I mean, kids just watching clips and of this particular show. I really believe that this could be a really big show for We the Studios.com. But you are going to take some incoming with that show. And I actually think that actually helps you, frankly, because you're going to get the arguments, oh, this is cultural appropriation. You're going to get the arguments that, oh, this is a white family that is monetizing off the plight of these young Black kids. Are they ready for that?
They are ready for that. So the social media following, the father, Blake, he has a significant social media following, and it's actually been growing throughout this process of building out We the Studios. And I think it's something that he hits daily. Some of them, he tries to be a gentleman and I think ignore, and then some of them he just can't. And I certainly don't blame him. And, he is expected as, there's a lot of expectation, I think, from the general public, him being a white man, to raise his kids in a, certain cultural way. And he said the coolest thing, and I'm so glad we have it on camera, that he's just raising them to have good values and to be good people. He's not raising them to be white. He's not raising them to be Black. He's raising them to be productive members of society. And I just thought that's the goal, That is
Yeah.
absolutely the goal. And I just love the way that they parent their kids and the involvement that they have with their children. It's really cool.
Okay, we've got about 3 minutes left. Talk to us about their super influencer. What is that about?
So super influencer is pretty much what it sounds like. We find influencers online that are essentially making their living. They're paying their bills off of being an influencer, and we spend a day with them. So if you think about old school MTV Cribs, where you would go see somebody's house and it
Yeah,
kind of
love
you
it.
see the
Yeah.
refrigerator and their cars, we're kind of doing something similar, but we're seeing their life and all their brand sponsorships.
Cool.
Some people like Kendall in Kentucky, for example, she shows her kids for the first time. She felt safe doing that because we're behind a paywall. It's a TV show. It's not just social media where somebody could share it.
Sure.
So you're seeing the influencers' real life from a different view on camera. It's not them pointing the camera. It's me pointing the camera on them. And they're sharing things that they don't normally share online. So that's really been a fun one just to kind of see what
Yeah.
life
Okay.
is like. Yeah,
That's good.
it's really, really cool. And then we're in pre-production now. You're going to love this one. Maybe come visit set if you're in Chicago, but we will be heading to Chicago next month. Actually, this month. It's already March, isn't it?
Yeah, time
for
is
a
flying
series
now.
called That Girl Lola. And she's the real life Hannah Montana with all American values. And her whole family is involved in her career to become famous. And so she's a singer, she's a dancer, she's an actor, and we're going to follow this little girl's journey to stardom.
Wow, that is okay. That is fun. Honestly, all of these shows sound like great ideas. So, super influencer, that's a niche in and of itself. Obviously, you're going to get a young college age crowd that is going to want to be a super influencer that are going to watch that. People want to see the success story, which I appreciate that. I mean, people want to see people succeed. I mean, sadly, in our culture today, so many people are demonized because of hard work and succeeding. And I'm like, man, guys, this is total nonsense. When we were growing up as kids, we used to think, man, one day I want to be like that person. One day I want to achieve what they have. Now it's like you achieve stuff and it's, oh my God, this person must have taken this from. I'm like, man, this is just total nonsense. So I'm so glad that you guys are bringing this concept back to entertainment. Real quickly, we only have a minute. Kitchen fight. That sounds interesting to me. What is that about?
So Kitchen Fight is your modern day Mary Poppins. We titled it Kitchen Fight because, first of all, our host is Tito Ortiz's beautiful wife, Amber Ortiz.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
there's a little play on words there, but it's the modern day kitchen fight. All of the families going in different directions, you know, kids coming home from soccer after the father's home from dinner or home from work late. And so we go into the house, we take a family recipe or their favorite meal, we take the phones away, Amber cooks a meal and forces the family around the table. And they get that time together around the table. They sit in the dining room and they realize how amazing it is to be together around the table. And what's really cool happened, I'm going to go back to God. We have 3 episodes on this already in the can. Every single family prayed, and they all prayed differently. So I found that really, really unique to be able to witness that, you know, those intimate moments and get the families on camera and behind the table together again. And they check in with us, and they're doing it repeatedly and frequently. So it really is a life-changing show.
All right. WeTheStudios.com. Thank you so much. You're doing a great work. You really are. I love this.